Make sure you mention the person behind me for me.
And there's one person recording behind the camera as well. Okay, here we go. Okay. According to the College Board, the average yearly cost for tuition and fees at a public college is $9,139. I mean, you can literally buy a small car with that amount of money, or at least 3 acres of land in Los Angeles, 70 shares of stock, an Apple, a 5-month trip around the world. But what if you go to a private school where the yearly cost is $31,231? With 1 year's worth of college, you can buy a 3-bedroom house in the Virgin Islands or an entire island in Canada if you wanted to. Not to say this is what you want, but I'm just giving an example of how much school is starting to cost Americans. So when the United States Army offers to pay for the education of its recruits, you're offering a very enticing incentive. The benefit of tuition assistance is, for many United States service members, a primary reason which those members have decided to join armed forces. By this benefit, many active, retired, and reservist members have received degrees, certificates, and certifications that benefit them both during and after service. However, these benefits have been reduced and suspended in the past and are restricted by yearly limits and ceiling caps. This is unacceptable, as these benefits are by far one of the greatest ways that our soldiers can be repaid for their service to our nation. I believe not only that tuition assistance programs should be protected, but also that it should be revised to allow students to graduate in a reasonable amount of time. So, tuition assistance began in 1944 after President Roosevelt signed into existence the Servicemen's Readjustment Act. The purpose of this act was to aid veterans, whether they served in war or not, in the purchase of a home, to start a business, or the pursuit of a college education after a discharge. This act is now known as the GI Bill. The GI Bill, contrary to popular belief, is actually separate from the tuition assistance program. TA is meant to prepare the soldier and help the service member after service, and not to educate them during the service. Obtaining a college education during service not only benefits the Army by developing more capable and competent soldiers, but also the soldier by preparing them for life after the military. While it is costly, it is a benefit that we all can achieve by guaranteeing more veterans will not be unemployed and homeless. Currently, TA covers $250 per credit hour, and that's $4,500 per year. This equals about 16 to 18 credit hours depending on the school. So as long as the tuition per credit hour is $250 under, the Army will cover that. This can be applied to up to 130 credit hours of a bachelor's degree and 39 credit hours of a graduate degree. An average full-time student, however, takes 15 to 18 credits per semester in order to graduate within 4 years, provided that all classes are passed. Therefore, the Army pays for 1 full semester a year. At this rate, it would take a student that could not afford college 7 years to graduate on the TA tuition program as it stands. In 1999, the Department of Defense raised the annual ceiling by $1,000 from $3,500. However, this increase does not cover the continued rising rate of going to college. It only covers about 28% of what has been raised. Recently, TA has been endangered by many economic and political factors. Necessary funding can be suspended without notice. Enrollment can be suspended for those that are looking to forward their education without notice if the government feels that it is needed for the budget. Based on this information, it is evident that changes need to be made in obtaining education as a service member. The yearly cap should be removed in order to allow soldiers to attend school and take advantage of the benefits in the most useful way. Participants should have more control of the use of their tuition assistance so they can take classes according to their schedules and professional goals, so as not to be disturbed by environmental or work-related factors. There are several reasons why this change is necessary. As I previously mentioned, the current TA structure does not allow soldiers to go to school full-time for the full year. In order to go to school full-time, a soldier must pay the difference out of pocket using grants or loans, or attend a yellow ribbon school that promises to reduce their tuition cap. Unfortunately, most yellow ribbon schools are for profit, and their degrees are really not considered to be good when looking for a job. and they will get overlooked by someone that went to a better school. As a personal testimony, I did not qualify for any grants, and therefore I pay an additional $6,750 each year out of my pocket to remain a full-time student. Soldiers must take classes when they are available. I understand this, and with deployments and demanding schedules, sometimes we cannot take full-time classes. But in my situation, I am able to be a full-time student because my schedule is extremely set here in the NATO field. And with that being said, I decided to go to school full-time. That decision has still cost me over $5,000. I feel like as a service member, and when I was promised as a recruit that the Army would pay for my schooling, that this is unacceptable. There will be understanding oppositions to this ideal. One such objection would be that the possibility of a soldier achieving a degree within one contract and leaving the military, having taken more than she has given. There would, of course, be measures to place to ensure in return that if the Army decides to invest in a soldier, that they will also get something out of the soldier. For example, after you've acquired your degree, maybe you could promise to serve an additional amount of time. I'm sure there are many ways that we can make sure that people do not join the Army and use it only for a college education. There are many people in the Army that plan to make this a career, and the benefit of a degree would be amazing. Another opposition would be in the form of financial concerns. The concern of cost is understandable. However, it is important to take a look at the current TA numbers. In the fiscal year 2013, active duty soldiers took an advantage of 2.71 courses. Guard soldiers took an average of 3.5 courses, and reserve soldiers took an average of 3.4 courses. It is evident that not all soldiers are taking advantage of the benefits, so I feel that the ones that do decide to take advantage will make up for those that are not. The DoD has long acknowledged that the TA program is good for recruitment, enhanced morale, fewer discipline problems, and better retention. Soldiers also show that TA is a primary reason that soldiers enlist and re-enlist in the military. It also would help in showing that once you leave the military, there is definitely a career for you. However, the promise of free education is just not a recruiting tool. It is a tool for life, and it's something that the Army should take very seriously. With that being said, I hope that you and I can petition the Army and the government to make TA a full-time attendance and protect our benefits when it comes to going to school and receiving our degrees. Thank you.
Okay, so I do have some questions. All right,
Okay.
so public average roughly a little over 9,000, private 31,000 per year, and that is attending classes, correct?
Yes.
All right. So online is a little different, though sometimes tuition is the same. All right. One question I have is, what do you consider? You said that soldiers should be able to graduate college within a reasonable amount of time.
Right.
What is reasonable amount of time for you?
I feel like 5 years is a reasonable amount of time, and the reason why I feel
For what degree? So associates or bachelor's?
For your bachelor's degree.
Okay.
And the reason I feel like that is because the large majority of the programs are set for 4 years. So I feel like an extra year, to give or take for a deployment or, time off. But I feel like 7 years is a long time for a 4-year degree.
Okay. Does that include summer?
No, that only includes 2 regular semesters. It doesn't include summer.
That's what I was asking for the 5 years. All right. So, how much, in your opinion, do you think TA should cover?
I think TA should cover 100% as long as you maintain a certain GPA. I know that in the past, before they changed it, as long as you had a 3.0, it would cover all the semesters, and then of course things got changed.
Is that for every university?
Yes, for every university.
Okay. What do you feel is the intent of TA?
I feel the intent of TA is to encourage students.
Was the intent of TA? Yeah, I should say.
When it was encourage students to go to school, give people a reason to want to join the military, a recruitment tool. I just feel like maybe the military didn't expect for so many people to take advantage of it, and so they started cutting a lot of the things that people actually were looking forward to as far as the military goes.
Okay. So full-time on active duty. All right. Being a college graduate full-time, and depending on semester hours, at least when I was going to school, was considered 12. Anything over 12 credits was considered full time.
That's good.
And for the university I graduated, if I had 20 or more credits, I had to talk to the dean to get clearance to take that many credits. And that was going to school full time.
Mhm.
That was my only job. Work part time to pay for school, along with loans. Do you think it is fair to assume that soldiers will be able to take full time credits with TA, because there is the college op reenlistment option, which you have 6 months to go to school and that's all you do, so you can go full time. So do you think it's fair to the military that soldiers go full time to school? Because I think you're putting a lot of pressure on service members with a full time job, given that we work roughly 60 hours a week. I mean, if you look at the normal PT
Right.
to close a business, to now you're adding school on top of that.
Well, I think it should be an option, sir.
Okay.
I think that if I can, for example, being here,
Mhm.
I take 15 hours a semester.
Right.
Sometimes 18. Since I've been here, I've been here a little over a year, and I've been able to get 36 credits.
Okay.
So with that being said, I think if the opportunity is present, I think it should be an option. Of course, I wouldn't want a service member to try to go to school full time and you're doing a full time army. But here at NATO, it's very possible. With that being said, if the opportunity is there, I think that it should be paid for. If it's not, then of course take what you can take. All units are not going to allow you to do a school op. The unit I came from before this, it was denied often because we were rapid deploying and they weren't going to sign off on that. However, they would tell you, but we would let you leave so you can go to school and stuff like that. So I think that if the chain of command is willing to work with you, that it's very plausible to take more hours. One semester you might be able to take 18, the next semester you might only be able to take 4. So I feel like it can even out. But I feel like a lot of students don't do as much as they could, or they hold back. I have a friend right now, she only takes 2 classes a semester because she doesn't want to use all her TA. So it just depends, but I do think it should be at least an option.
Okay, I'm good.